Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of Super Rugby Pacific. This one, the Reds taking on the Fijian Drua. Now, the Fiji weather has once again turned up like it did in that game up against the Western Force. It is pouring down, but not quite as wet as it was for that Force matchup. But either way, the crowd are going to be there. They're expecting about 10,000, and this game should be a very important one when it comes to the Fijian Drua overall season. They still have a game up against the Rebels at home, but next week they're away. So this game is pretty much a must-win if the Drua want to remain inside of that top 8. Now, there are still plenty more games to happen throughout this weekend, of course. We've already seen 2 matches. We saw the Hurricanes get themselves the victory, and alongside that, we also saw the win going the way of the Chiefs in a close game up against the Rebels. But looking through at the starting lineup, first of all, for the Fijian Drua, a little bit smaller than it normally is, but it is Kuroi Dua. Masaki Donge is going to be at number 3 alongside him, and then in between Tavita Ikanaveri, a very handy player for the Fijian Drua. Vothi has slotted into that 4 jersey quite well after the injuries that the Fijian Drua did sustain near the start of the season. He's really taken to that jersey quite nicely. Now, Sila will be there at 5. Tony Owanga at number 6 alongside Kitioni Salawa and also Thanakai Vata, the 7 superstar. Kuravuli and Armstrong Ravola will be the 19 combo with Nalanga in the midfield with Osifu Masi. Now, that is just such a dangerous combo, and this is one of the first time that we actually get to see Nalanga in action, so hopefully it does end up going very well for him. Momo out on one wing, Ravatamanda out on the other, and then Eliza Drua Sisi slotting in as the number 15 for the Reds. Penny Ravai in front of his family will be playing for the Reds in their 1 jersey. Nasai at 2 and Zain Ungur as the number 3. Ryan Smith, the most informed lock, I would say, in the whole competition so far. And Daly there at number 5. Liam Wright, Fraser McRae, and also Bryant will be there as the number 8. Tate McDermott and Lawson Creighton, the 19 combo. Paisami and Annan make up the midfield with Aubrey, Vunivalu, and also Jock Campbell on the outside at 15. So, those are the lineups, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, all. Hamish, says Robert. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. Let's go the Drua. Give it 110%. And that's what they're going to need for this game. Of course, their last contest that they had, they did not play well, unfortunately, up against the Western Force, a game that a lot of people felt like the Fijian Drua had a decent chance of being able to win. And that game happened, and they just didn't really look like the Fijian Drua side that we had seen in their past games. They weren't clinical. They had a lot of errors, a lot of disciplinary problems throughout that contest as well. And in the end, the scoreboard kind of represented that, but they have to make sure in this game, definitely because they are at home, and we know how great the Fijian Drua record is while they're at home compared to when they're away, when they seem to struggle quite a bit. If they make it to the quarterfinals, they will more than likely be away from home, but it will certainly be one that they want to make sure that they are putting 110% in, like Mr. Billy said. And good day, Hamish, from Dutch Harbour in Asaka, or Akasa, I should say, sorry. And also, how's Auntie and Uncle? They're doing all right. I believe they will be possibly keeping an eye on either this game or maybe the next one that's taking place between the Crusaders and the Brumbies. Corey Anderson is in the US team in cricket for the T20. He's a New Zealander. I mean, he's got eligibility, though, to be able to play for the USA, I believe. So that is why we're going to see him in a USA kit, which is quite cool. At the end of the day, he felt like he wasn't getting much attention from New Zealand, so went down the other ventures that he did have available. So you can't really blame the guy, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do, seeing as he has been playing over there for quite a bit of time. It actually looks like the sun's come out now. Hang on. I feel like this is the perfect example of unpredictable Fijian weather. 5 minutes ago, it was pouring down in the warm-ups, and now the sun is out, and it's a beautiful afternoon. Now, it is going to be an extremely hot afternoon. Ref, please be neutral and fair, says Luke. We'll see. I feel like that's the thing, though. Like, if there's one decision that some people don't like, it's probably going to make them think that the whole refereeing is unfair. But we'll wait and see how it goes. Hopefully it is close to down the middle. We'll call what we see, of course, in terms of breakdowns and everything along those lines. But looking forward seeing Siru Uru off the bench. He did return last week, I believe, was the first time that we had seen him in quite a bit of time. Is Vota injured? I think he's either injured or being rested, but from what I've heard, Wanga Nalanga at number 12, he's had some good runs in the under-20s. He's quite a young player, like only recently was in those under-20s kits, and yeah, apparently he's got a really bright future, so hopefully we get to see that in this game. Even though it might be raining 1 minute and sunny the next, so hopefully he's got good hands on him, because he will need them. And these conditions, over 25.5 first half total, says Kingsman trading cards. Oh, that's a knock-on straight away from the Reds, so that'll help out the Drua in terms of their opportunity. Straight over the ball was Cormac Daly. The knock-on from that man early on means that the Drua have got themselves a scrum from just inside of the Reds 22. As for New Zealand didn't play warm-up game before T20. Then how preparing their squad without warm-up games. I'd assume that they're doing some sort of training. It will just be less strenuous, I guess. 1 moment, I'm about to sneeze, so I'll quickly mute. Okay, they've just said that the Fijian Drua have won every game that they've played in Fiji up against the Reds. But they have lost every game that they played up against the Reds in Queensland. Nice loop and play here from the Fijian Drua out their backline. Bit of a slip there from Eliza Drua Sisi. That is due to the wet conditions, although now that the sun is out, it's going to be a lot better, I would say. I'm going to see some more free-flowing rugby. Why is the scoreboard not working? I believe it is. At this stage, we're only 1 minute 20 in at the moment for this contest. Now Kuravuli going back across to Armstrong Ravula. Osefo Masi. That's going to be a knock on there. Tate McDermott. He's going to have that ball available now. And we got to beat the Blues tonight, says PSG. I actually backed the Highlanders to beat the Blues, but I think that was just because... Oh, that's out on the full from the Reds. But yeah, I think that was just to go for an underdog in that one. It's going to be a tough game for the Highlanders, I'll be honest. Like, this is the type of game that if they can follow up not beating a New Zealand side for 21 games and win 2 in a row, that's like massive for them. Come on, Fijian Drua, because you're in the Pacific, I believe that is, from Zion, rather than plastic. And just showing Ryan Smith, like I mentioned, one of the most informed locks in the competition. The way that he's able to play, and he almost just got the line out steal. Now, nice run forward from Nalanga. Wanga moving to 20 metres out at the moment for the Fijian Drua. Armstrong Ravula shifting away to the right-hand side. Bit of a handling error from Eliza Drua Sesi, but he's able to regather it. Now attack and run forward from Tanakai Vatu, who's already at about 380 running metres throughout this season with the ball in hand. Good pump and run there. He's just going to be short. Kitioni Salawa. Okay, Koroi Duadua is claiming the try, but there was a clear knock-on. Tell you what, Salawa did all the hard work apart from keeping his feet underneath him, and then in the end ended up dropping that ball. Hang on. Oh, Suliasi Vunivalu may have foot-tripped him here, is why he's been taken down. Could be cynical, and this might be a penalty try. Clear trip by 14 Red. Right, so he makes his way through. Oh, yeah, that's bad. That's really bad from Suliasi Vunivalu. Wonder if he learnt that in the NRL, but either way, he's going to be more than likely yellow carded. That should be a penalty try because he got wrong-footed. Okay, they can hear him now on the TMO. But for me, that's a cynical foul from Vunivalu. That player was the last offender. They just want to check it, though. That's going to be a yellow card for Vunivalu, a penalty try for the Fijian Drua, or at least it should be. There's no way that it can't be the man's foot tripped him to stop him from scoring it. And in football, it would be a yellow card. It was studs up. Week in, week out, says Will for Vunivalu, making so many mistakes. Here we go. We're going to see it here. Yeah, nah. Like, if they say that Campbell's there, yeah. Okay, Angus Gardner, he says a probable try would have been scored. It's going to be a yellow card for Suliasi Vunivalu. And it's also going to be a penalty try for the Fijian Drua. So a dream start to this contest for them. And now for the next 10 minutes, they are going to be playing with 10 men on the field. Or sorry, 14 men on the field. They didn't quite take 5 men off. But I was wondering what happened for Kitioni Salawa. Like I mentioned, the only thing that stopped him from scoring was the fact that he tripped. But the reason he tripped was because he was foot tripped. Yeah, that's bad from Vunivalu. Who knew he got his ankles broken and had to try and save face? But the thing is, there's so many cameras. So how did he think he was going to get away with it? Even in a game in Fiji, which sometimes they talk about, well, that was a knock-on from the Fijian Drua. Referee says it's gone backwards. Crowd will not complain, as we are in Fiji. Kuravuli back to Armstrong, Ravula. But, like, there's too many cameras to not get sin bin for that. Nice take from Jock Campbell on the halfway line, getting driven sideways by Celestino Ravatamanda, who's in the bin. It is Suliasi Vunivalu. That's the penalty going the way of the Drua. And yep, Hamish, definitely a penalty try and yellow card, bad discipline. Yeah, and I think it's like, it's bad discipline, right? But it's also more of the case of he just got absolutely, as they say, done like a dog's dinner. Because he was sent the wrong way. He got stepped by a 7, went, oh, I can't have that happen, and then just stuck his leg out to try and stop any embarrassment. But it's more embarrassing almost for him now because he's going to be off the field for the next 10 minutes. And depending on how the Drua go, we might see a couple tries scored throughout that 10-minute period as well. Let's go the Fijian Drua, says Zion. Going to be thrown in by Tavita Ikanaveri, nicely taken by Vofe now. Looping around the backwards, Tavita Ikanaveri again with the carry. Fraser McWright joining that breakdown. Now Ravatamanda driven backwards. Some decent Reds defence, although they are one man short now. So trying to find in the wide channel was Antonio Wanga. McDermott at the moment just controlling traffic for his side. Backline looking good here for the Drua. Eliza Drua Sisi. And he tackled again here. 22 metres out. One moment, I'm about to sneeze again. We are good. Nice run forward from Pele Momo. 17 metres from the line. Little grubber in behind. As well picked up. I believe that's Kitioni Salawa again, who had the ball. Now, nice step from Tavita Ikanaveri. They have just broken through, and the Drua score themselves another try here. I tell you what, this is putting a huge amount of pressure on the other side, trying to catch up with the Drua. The way that it was sitting at the end of last night, with the exception of that Chiefs versus Rebels game, this is the way that the table was sitting. So, of course, we saw the Chiefs move up to 42. We saw the Rebels get up to 26 because they were within 7. But if the Drua won this game, and if they won it comfortably, they would move up to 22, which is only 1 point behind the Highlanders, who go head-to-head with the Blues a little bit later on tonight. So, it's going to be very interesting to see who starts moving up that little bit more. The Drua need a great finish to their Super Rugby competition, and this is a great start to this contest here. And let's go, good crowd. Yep, about 10,000 in attendance for this match, even though it was pouring down with rain just before, and it looks like it's about to pour down with rain again. The sun was out for 5 minutes, so that was nice. Armstrong Ravula now. He's got 65 points so far this season, and he will stay on 65. He has missed that one away to the right-hand side. Score will remain at 12 points to 0. And let's go, says Kingsman Trading Cards. And also, try, says David the Modern. Where are they playing? They are playing at ANZ Stadium in Fiji. And the Fijian Drua, they love playing at home. It happens every time, 10k low, massive turnout. Then Moana home game. Although I think Moana's home game was actually sold out. I don't think they could fit many more people into that stadium. Plus, like, with the weather, you'd probably say that it was a very good turnout for what type of, like, weather conditions were around. So I don't think they're comparable, really. Because different stadiums, different weather, different everything. 10 minutes in at the moment, 12-0 at the moment for the Fijian Drua. Still 5 minutes remaining of the Suliasi Vunivalu yellow card. And in fact, where that try was scored from Tavita Ikanaveri was probably somewhere that Vunivalu could have been defending. Might have even tried a foot trip to stop him. On the halfway line at the moment, looks like Tate McDermott about to send this one up to the sky. At the moment, 89% territory and possession. 10k, are you joking, Hamish? Says stay hunky. That's how many they said that they're expecting for this game. 10k for this one. Now it's going to be kicked in behind from the Reds. Just a little bit too much on it. Oh, well cleaned up by Armstrong Ravola, who grubbers it downfield. Didn't go for the kick towards the touchline because of all the pressure on him, which now actually gives the Reds the possession. You know, when the All Blacks is playing, they are playing in July, but also they have a game in late June. So only about a month and a bit away from the first All Blacks game. Going to be an advantage against the Fijian Drua for offside. This is where the momentum may start to shift a little bit here. McDermott back across to Pini Ravai. Make sure that they tackle him nice and low early. Still under penalty advantage. Lawson Creighton tries the cross kick, and that is the try out wide for Floyd Aubrey. A little bit of an unfamiliar name. I can't wait, Sarah, says the little princess, and Toso Drua Toso in there as well. But Floyd Aubrey scores the cross kick try. Ironically, he was out on Suliasi Vunivalu's wing. And he's nailed the catch there. They already had the penalty advantage there for the Reds, so they might as well have thrown everything at it. Yeah, gets it out wide. They're just talking about that decision from Armstrong Ravola. Didn't kick it downfield, instead tried to go with a little grubber. And it kept the Reds in the position only just out from the Drua line. Now they've got a chance to add the extra 2. It's Lawson Creighton. I say Toso Drua Toso. If you're in Fiji, I sadly cannot, but only on a green screen for me anyway. 13 minutes gone. And already we're seeing 3 tries scored. It's going to be a high-scoring game, ladies and gentlemen. Now Lawson Creighton. He's got it over. Great kick from the touchline. And that'll now make the score 12 points to 7. Just well read there from Aubrey. Reds missing Harry Wilson for the rest of the season after his broken arm. Not good for the Reds. Yeah, not good for the Reds and also not good for the Wallabies in that regard as well. You speak Hamish? I do. Oh, no, I don't speak Fijian, sadly. Still learning a little bit. I probably only know about 10 words if I'm lucky. It's going to be a turnover though for the Fijian Drua. Sully doing well for Fiji. Says Alex, but great work over the ball to win that turnover. I believe it was Wanga. And they will go for the 3 points here, the Fijian Drua. Even though they have a man advantage, they know that this will be what gets them just that little bit more ahead by 8. Hamish, plenty Fijian ladies at the stadium. I assume so. I don't think there will be 10,000 blokes. I think that there'll be a few women at the game too. 1 minute left of that Vunivalu yellow card. So it's cost them theoretically 15 points if this kick goes over from Armstrong Ravula. They're just showing us KFC on the screen. Queensland Reds don't stand a chance against us. There's the little princess. That one from Armstrong Ravula. Good connection, and it's gone over. So that will now make the score 15 points to 7 in favour of the Fijian Drua. "18 seconds left to Suliasi Vunivalu's card." Look at that, Hamish. You can work at the UN with all these languages you're learning. Yeah, although that'd be hard work, wouldn't it? Because I'd confuse the languages, and I feel like the worst thing to do in that scenario is to try and speak a certain language to someone who speaks a different language, because that's probably something that would offend them. Good afternoon, mate, from Brisbane. Checking in as always. Bulavanaka to everyone in Fiji, Auckland for life. Says James Martin. Now that's going to be Suliasi Vunivalu actually back out on the field. I believe he's knocked it on there in his first touch of the day. Right, the Reds have got the ball 10 metres out from the line. I believe there was a knock on from Vunivalu. So the big thing here is going to be the Reds need to go through 3 phases before scoring if they get the try, because then the TMO cannot go back and check it. And that looks like what they're going to do here. That is up to 3 phases. So even if it was a knock on, now we cannot see it. Passed out wide. Look for the ball on the inside. And it's going to be cleaned up by Armstrong Ravula, who has kicked it out on the full. I go back for the original knock on. It's Ed losing the great Sid going. Come on, Fiji. Says Moa Hunters. And maybe Sully is part of the yellow card betting campaign like the 3 A-League guys. Says Hanoi, and good afternoon, mate. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? How much time left, my dude? There is still another 64 minutes left. And that's gone dead, so plenty of time. Women in the crowd can blow a whistle and confuse the players. Says Alex, and the Reds are gaining momentum. Says David the Mod there too. Currently about a minute for both of these sides inside of the opposition 22. Possession 63%, still in favour of the Drua. If I'm quiet, I'm watching my 2 favourite mates. Says Robert. I just woke up, bad tooth pain. What games you doing later on today? Yes, it's 3:24 a.m. here. That's a big scrum from the Reds. Hopefully your tooth pain does get better, but they're going back for the penalty. Okay, that's going to be in favour of the Reds this time. But yeah, the games that we have got later on, we've got Crusaders versus Brumbies, which is taking place next. That is the 4:35 p.m. kickoff. We've got Blues versus Highlanders. That is the 7:05 p.m. kickoff. Then we've got a little bit of a break in between. And then we've actually got 3 more games that are taking part in the URC as the next ones that we've got. So we've got 3 games in a row for Super Rugby and then 3 games in a row for the URC. The first URC one starts at 11:50 p.m. New Zealand time tonight. So about 9.5 hours, somewhere around there. And nicely taken by the Drua, 40 metres out from their line. We're going to use their back line yet again. Eosefo Masi trying to go through. Found his offload up to Celestino Ravatamanda. Suliasi Vunivalu has made the tackle, and that is a forward pass from the Drua. We can get the ball out to Apele Momo. So far we've seen 4 handling errors from the Drua compared to the 2 of the Reds. Hamish, how much time left? Now they've got 62 minutes as opposed to that 64 that they had the last time that you asked. So still heaps of time. Still could see 10 tries scored before the end of this contest. So, don't get me wrong, the Drua will be happy with the lead, but they'll know that they need more points in this game to win it. The Red scrum at the moment, it is the 3rd best in the competition with a success rate of 95%. They are 40 metres out from the line now. Oh, okay, that scrum's gone down. The Fijian is perfect, says a little princess. Tackle completion, 72% and 71% for these 2 sides. So Drua just that 1% less than the Reds, which, to be honest, as long as they're making a majority of their tackles for both of these sides, I don't think they'll mind miss tackles hugely just because of how tricky it is going to be able to, I guess, get your footing underneath you because of how slippery it is out there on the park. Oh, and that's going to be now the free kick going the way of the Fijian Drua at scrum time. There wasn't stability. Says Angus Garner, how much time left, mate? Still, now this time, fun fact, it's 61 minutes compared to the 62 and the 64 from before when you asked. And go the draw, 45-32 to the Buller, says a Dr. Pooh. And thanks, Hamish, well done, says Dennis. One moment, I'm about to sneeze, so I'll quickly mute again. There we go, we're good. Thank brother, says the little princess. Robert with the eyes as well. Now ball about to be fed in by Simeone Kuravuli, a very good starting option for the Fijian Drua. Frank Lamani, he's had a few rough times with yellow cards or red cards or injuries throughout this season. Anyone know is whiskey good for tooth pain? I'm not sure, to be honest. Like, I assume it in a way would help with the pain if you had enough of it, but that's probably not a good way of looking at it. You probably need, I don't even know what's good for a toothache. They normally say sea salt, don't they? Or like salt and water. And you're supposed to like gargle, well no, not gargle it, but you're supposed to like, you know, kind of rinse it around a little bit. I can't imagine that would taste nice though, but it might help. You might want to Google it, but don't take everything on Google seriously. So find the right things on Google. Jack Daniels says Robert, now of the Fijians in possession. Only 45 metres out from their line. Good two-man clean out. On under by Sami in the breakdown. Now out wide, Celestino Ravatamanda pumping his legs. Eventually, Jock Campbell's able to take him down, but it took him an extra 5 or so metres of Ravatamanda moving forward. Great work in the breakdown there. And the Reds win the penalty. Why are you looking, or what are you looking at on the left? As in where I'm looking now? That's the game. I've got the game on that screen, so that is why we're looking that way. And then the camera's there. So we look there for the game, there for the camera. We're 22 minutes into this contest. Only 15 points to 7. Is it starting? Is what starting? The game? Or do you have a big screen? Nah, it's just a little monitor, pretty much. So like I haven't got a TV or anything set up for it. It's just through my PC that I've got the screen connected. It would be nice to watch these games on a big screen, and I feel like it would be a little bit easier on the eyes, but yeah, we've just had the little screen. Yes, the game. You get the game started. It's 22 minutes in at the moment. Now Ryan Smith going back across to the right-hand side. Who do you think is going to win, says Anita? I mean, I'd like to think that the Drua already have made massive improvements compared to what we saw in their last contest up against the Western Force, which was incredibly one-sided. But, advantage now going against the Drua again. But the Reds are a side that have pulled off some big wins throughout their season. We've got to remember they've beaten the Chiefs. They've also pulled off victories over some of the top Aussie sides. Vunivalu trying to make his way through. Dennis used ginger paste on your tooth. I mean, not many people probably have ginger paste, though, is the only thing. Oh, Lawson Creighton cuts straight through. What a try that is for the Reds fly half. Of course, there's still talks of who is going to be that Wallabies 10. With a nice sniping run like that, Lawson Creighton maybe trying to put his name in the hat. That is going to be his second of the season. Just sniped straight through the defensive line. He was first receiver. Fijian Drua were already anticipating him to go out wide, and then some great stepping from Creighton helps him get the try. It helps get the Reds back into this contest. Just looking both ways there, Lawson Creighton, trying to find what was that next passing option. Okay, they've got a minute to take this kick. I think Angus Gardner just saying that there's no clock there. Brush your teeth and you won't have to go through that pain. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes you just get unlucky with, like, you know, you could get a little cut on your gum or something and then that can get infected, or, you know, you bite something and it chips a little bit off. Like, it's not so much, like, yes, brushing your teeth is hugely recommended. But, like, even if you do everything right, it's like you could be the healthiest bloke in the world, right? You could be going to your gym, you could be running, you could be doing everything like that. You can still have, like, heart problems, you can have kidney failure, you can have all sorts of things. Like, even though you're doing things right, sometimes you just are that unlucky one who gets the odd one out, if that makes sense. What score do you think is our Reds and Drua going to have? I think both sides are going to bring up 30-plus points in this game. And Drua versus Reds Live, says Sam Rakai. Here we are, 25 minutes in at the moment. Drua sitting with a 1-point lead. 15 points to 14. Stop feeling sorry for the mammy. Poor dental health is real. No, but like I said, you can be the fittest person in the world, still have a heart attack. So, like, sometimes, like, you don't know their situation. You haven't met the fella. You've just seen his name through a chat. So, you know, you can't really judge too much off just that. Reds ball, says Anita. 15 points to 14, and we are going to have a water break now. After that one has been kicked out on the full. When it returns. I was playing hurling with some kids. The ball hit me right in the gob mouth, serves me right. Should have left the kids alone to their game. Says Dennis. See, Doctor, it wasn't even from brushing the teeth or anything. It's from getting hit in the face with a ball. You know, so sometimes you shouldn't just assume things. Maybe you should ask questions rather than just, you know, assuming the worst. Hey, yikes, be friendly. And low yikes in there as well. But 53% possession at the moment in favour of the Draws. 75%. They've actually bumped themselves up a little bit in terms of that possession, or sorry, their tackle completion stat. What country are you in right now? I am in New Zealand at the moment watching this game. So this was a 2 p.m. or 2:05 p.m. kickoff for us here in New Zealand. Don't mind poo, guys. Says stay hunky. Yeah, decent crowd. They were expecting 10,000. Just jokes. Yeah, although you were getting pretty serious in there, by the sounds of it, near the end. Getting smacked in the face with a ball, though, that would really hurt. I think we can all agree on that. Because hurling's like that's kind of like the size of a football, isn't it? Or it's a little bit bigger, I think, for the hurling ball. Am I thinking of the right sport? 26 minutes in. The water break does look like it has been concluded. The players back into the action. So I came in Fiji right now. Says Anita. I believe it's quite humid at the moment in Fiji for this contest. So the players, that is why we've just had the water break. And we've got there being smacked in the face with a few balls. I don't doubt that. I note the ball is like a cricket ball even. Oh, is that the little, kind of like what you have in curling, isn't it? Or not curling, sorry, in, what's it called in America? Lacrosse, isn't it? Like a little bit like a lacrosse ball. Now passed out wide. I think we had to play it in PE very briefly. You reckon Burger King for the toothache? We've also got the being smacked in the face with a few balls. And I read that one, didn't I? Now, nice run from Armstrong Ravola, but the ball has come out of his hands and the tackle of Cormac Daly, especially going into a ruck, says Doctor. And yep, says Dennis there as well, but just a little knock on coming. And draw player injured, says Anita. Yep, we've got a stoppage here. Just trying to work out who this is. It is actually the number 12, Wanga Nalanga, one of the newer players in this Fijian lineup. It is a big shame to see him down already with an injury, definitely because he is so young into his FIJIAN DRUA career. I believe this is actually his first game that he has played. So not the time that you want to be going down with any sort of injury. Well, we will go like this. So the Drua are still considered slight favourites, seeing as they are playing in Fiji, but only just. Curling the Olympic sport, maybe, says Robert. Oh, I know curling is on the ice and you sweep the ice and you try and get it to go as close to that middle centre as you can. We actually played curling one time. I can't remember where we played it, but it was for a school. Like, we got to do activities at the end of the year pretty much where you could choose to go paintballing or you could go play tennis or squash or golf or anything like that. And I remember one year I decided, alongside Isaac and maybe George, I think. Oh, I don't know if George was there, but we did go curling, which was a bit of an experience. Medica Show now says Anita. And how many in the drawer, or how many in the drawer in the Fiji team? Says Nomum. I would probably say, like, in terms of current numbers, they've got, I'd say about 6 in their current starting lineup, maybe 7 or 8 if you really dig deep. So, like, a lot of them. What really pissed me off, the kid that hit me just burst out laughing. Says Dennis. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Did he try on purpose to hit you, or did he, like, just not quite get it right? And curling sounds new to me. Yeah, it's a decent time if you like a bit of ice and whatnot. I'm about to sneeze again. We are good. Other than the focus, there we go. Kick downfield. And that ball hasn't gone into touch. And now the Reds are able to counter-attack with a run of their own. Suliasi Vunivalu receives the wide cutout pass. I think the crowd felt like it was forward. And scrum to the Reds is 12. Says Anita, yeah, it was Wanga Nalanga. And a bit of an injury. Big shot coming in from the FIJIAN DRUA. Trying to keep the ball alive. I think it's gone into touch. But I think there was an initial forward pass from the Reds. Looks like the Drua are going to have to line out though. No, I was just too slow to get out of the way of the ball. And to be fair, if it's like a hard ball like that, those travel pretty quick. Drua's tackle completion now up to 80%. Lawn bowls is kind of the same thing without ice. Still a fun game. Yeah, lawn bowls gets a bad rap, doesn't it? At times. But if you actually play it and you get the hang of it, or at least know roughly what you're trying to do, it can be a fun time. You know, golf's a bit the same. Like, watching golf, people don't like watching golf. But when you actually go to the golf course and swing a club, sometimes, you know, you find yourself having fun. Like, I don't mind a bit of golf every once in a while. Armstrong Ravola. I believe one of the players was offside there. I think it was actually the number 12, but didn't manage to make contact. Hunter by Sami back across to Fraser McWright now. Good leg drive from him. I think that's almost his first carry that we have seen. Now back in the pocket, Hunter by Sami. Kicking it downfield. Nicely taken there by the FIJIAN DRUA inside of their own 22. Looking for the touchline again. And it's a good kick downfield from Armstrong Ravula, who manages to put the ball into touch. Only 40 metres out from their own line here, the Reds. They will have to line out. I feel like I'm going to sneeze again. It's one of those days, unfortunately. It's overcast, a little bit similar to what it is there. But I just feel like another sneeze is coming. I'm trying my best not to. But it may happen. Throw in now for Nessa. Manages to find the hands of Liam Wright. We're going to sneeze one moment. We are good. Loose ball here. And the drawer trying to pounce on it, but instead it was Lawson Creighton who ends up with that ball again. Back across McDermott. Going to Zainungor. Now McDermott, it looks like he's rolling this one back. They said ball was out. He's lost his footing though. I did see what happened to that golf player over in the States. That's a very non-specific situation. But no, I don't think so. Okay, Angus Gardner describing that one very well. So pretty much, Asona Silasila had the opportunity to jump onto the ball, but he dove on it rather than just grabbing it. I turn the air conditioning off, Hamish. There's Ivan. It isn't actually on though. That's the only problem there. But it's gone into touch from the Reds. Decent kick downfield from Jock Campbell. Looks like he's walking a little bit gingerly at the moment. May have taken some sort of knock. We have their draw need to sail to coast to coast. Try a special to let the crowd tell the story. Says Luke. And I mean, the fact that the sun is out as well is pretty awesome for this game, seeing as it was raining before the start of the contest. But now that it's sunny, I feel like that will just ignite that Fijian Drua crowd that little bit more. That is a great kick downfield. It goes to Vunivalu, who will now run it forward into the half of the Fijian Drua. McDermott, we're going to go to the left-hand side. Lawson Creighton passes in behind of John Bryant. Penny Ravai, short pass to him. Asona Silasila drives him backwards alongside Vofi. Now Ryan Smith gets the offload away. They're keeping this ball alive at the moment here, the Reds. Just trying to find that next gap. A lot of men running forward. Ball got stuck. They've tried to jump on it, and now there's space. Apeli Momo. No, it's going to be knocked on by Kuravuli, who is absolutely furious at the moment. Gets the big hug from Apeli Momo, telling him to calm down a little bit. I don't know if he was furious at himself or furious at the pass. And just guessing. Now, he's not happy. He's got his head down at the moment, Kuravuli, but he needs to snap out of that. Straight away here, he has to just go, right, that's happened. We get on with it. I'm off to bed now. Night, guys and girls. Thanks, lads. Cheers, Dennis. So we will see you later. You know, he looks straight at his teammate there. And they can't win in that crowd, have that crowd mentality with them. They should have the pride of winning off and in country. Says Ivan. Yeah, although they can make it to the quarterfinals, even with just home wins. Like, they've done brilliantly throughout the season in terms of being able to get home victories, even when they've struggled away from home. Bad pass, says Doctor there. Although there was still the chance that he just got driven into touch anyway by Soliasi Vunivalu. Okay, too much lean from the Fijian Drua front row, so that will be the free kick in favour of the Reds. Welcome to another wonderful rugby weekend, says Abdul Malik. Yeah, we are on the first of 6 live streams that we have got for this weekend, so there is plenty on, that is for sure. But hopefully the voice will be here at the end of it. Kick downfield just off a free kick for Lawson Creighton. Eliza Drua Sisi. Boots are high, 2 men chasing this one, but well taken by Jock Campbell. And now counter ruck, that ball is out. It has cleared the ruck by enough that it is going to be allowed to be dove on by the Drua. And they're 22 metres out at the moment. Sniping run from Kuravuli. He's knocked that one on. Or has he? Referee says play on. Now he goes back for the knock on. And the only player that can blame anyone for that one is Simeone Kuravuli, as he did drop it. Knock on by 9. He almost knocked it on twice in a row. There, Kuravoli. Not quite what he wanted. So far we've seen 6 handling errors from the Fijian Drua in this half. That is probably about 4 too many. Normally you see a couple and a half, and sides are a bit disappointed by it. But yeah, 6 so far throughout this first half, throughout this first 36 minutes. I don't think is where the Drua wanted to be. It looks like we got ourselves another water break here. They only had one 10 minutes ago, but because of the hot conditions, they do want to try and keep the players hydrated while they're out there. So far, the Drua have made 148 metres compared to the 66 metres made by the Reds. They've got a bit of an advantage in that department. I should also mention the next game that we are covering, ladies and gentlemen, will be the 4:30 p.m. New Zealand time game. So that is taking place in about an hour and 45 minutes. I think. Yep, an hour and 45 minutes. And that is going to be the contest taking place between the Crusaders and the Brumbies. Then that game is followed by the 7:05 game taking place between the Blues and the Highlanders. So 3 games back to back to back that we are going to be covering on the channel. So if you are new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We've also got next week's games that we are covering alongside the Champions Cup, which will also be taking place. Oh, okay, scrums have really been scrappy. And this one Drua should win this game being at home. They're good enough. So here's Doctor. Gardner's calling for a quick reset. This game has had maybe about 5 minutes taken out of it due to scrums and due to the scrums having to reset. Had quite a few free kicks as well. Now they are getting ready to feed it in again. Currently inside of their own 22 here, the Reds. To make sure that they get the exit right. Oh, that's a penalty now. Kuravoli frustrated again. Okay, so Kuroi Dua throws his hands up. Masaki Donge, I think he just accepted that he was penalised there. But yeah, he knows he was penalised. Kuroi Dua was confused because he thought he did everything fine, which I believe he did. But when the guy on the other side in the high air prop jersey does go a little bit too far in closing that gap, you do get yourself penalised. And you can see Mick Byrne there frustrated with the fact that every time that has happened, they just seem to give away that free kick or the penalty now. Now over to you, Kiwi lads, still at work, 15-minute break. What time the Blues having? So they are playing at 7:05 tonight. And of course, they're going head-to-head with the Highlanders at Eden Park. Tate McDermott passes off to Nessa. Tackle made by Whanakai Avata. Charged down. Tate McDermott's kick, awkward, bouncing one for Apele Momo. So that is now going to be a Reds line out here for them. 2 minutes remaining and still only 1 point difference between these two sides. I'm just trying to remember, what was the number the guy earlier on said that he needed in the first half? Oh, it was over 25.5, so he's fine. I thought it was over 35, and I was thinking he'd be about, well, a little bit nervous about now. Nessa throws it in through the hands, and that's a nice take from Tavita Ikanaviri off the back. It's a line-out mistake from the Reds. Leads to a great chance for the Fijian Drua. Shifting it away to the right-hand side. Osifomasi. Ball's going to sit up now for McDermott. Oh, he's had his leg chopped out from underneath him there. He's asking for the penalty. Are they going to check it? Nope. I think they wanted to take that one quickly. Okay, Tate McDermott actually asking the referee whether or not there was a late shot on him. Ref says not for me. And Angus Gardner is the best ref in the world, very much in the mould of Peter Marshall. Says Doctor. Yeah, McDermott's still talking to the touch judge, asking whether or not he will give him the penalty. Or at least get them to check, but I assume the TMO has had a look at it and decided that it was all good. Kuroi Dua. Of course, he was unhappy with their last scrum. Hopefully he's happy with this line out. Oh, he won't be because they've just turned the ball over for the Reds. He's kicked it downfield there. Tate McDermott, great grubber. 8 seconds remaining. Armstrong Ravula goes across to Eliza Drua. He looks like he's going to take on the challenger, running it forward. Same with Armstrong Ravula. Passes on the outside to Celestino Ravatamanda. And the Drua still making the meters. So I did not kick it from inside of their 22. It's a risky tactic, but it's something we've seen from the Drua time and time again. Ball is stripped, but they'll go back for the penalty. It's a high shot from the Reds. That is a bit of a reprieve for the Fijian Drua, as they were very close to giving away a counter-attack and try there. Okay, sounds like Nalanga again is down. It's not good news for him because that is one of the many times that man has been down already in this game. Armstrong Ravola being told to continue in this matchup. Doesn't find touch, so now they're actually going to be playing with 14 men. Looks like the Reds, they have booted that one into touch, and that is going to be half-time. 15 points to 14, or is it? No, there's still time left. We're 41 minutes through, but the Fijian Drua have actually still got themselves one last attacking chance here, by the sounds of it. Now back across. Ball on the inside to Osefo Masi. Neither of these sides looking like they want this game to end. Just continuing to try and attack here. Now Kuravuli goes back across again. I just heard, I'm not sure whose microphone that was, but someone said get the F on there. I don't know whether that's to Wanga or charge down again for Armstrong Ravula's kick. There's still the advantage though. The Drua taking this one deep into the half. They look for the offload. They'll go back for the penalty. I think it's too early for the regulars. In other words, crazy people like me. Says Robert in there as well. And afternoon, Kiwi Lads whānau. I hope all is good, says Nars Williams. Hopefully you are doing well too, mate. It's close at the moment. Kimi Valentini. Sounds like he's going to be making his way onto the field. It is to replace Wanga Nalanga. Well, unfortunately, just hasn't quite had the best game here, mainly because of those knocks that he's taken. Kimi Valentini, he's had some brilliant work off the bench. Probably getting a little bit longer than he anticipated. And it looks like straight away he's actually going to take on the 3 points here. Yeah, replacement Kimi Valentini is going to take this kick. He's only been on the field for about 5 seconds. But he's allowed to come on and take the kick. Liam Wright was just questioning whether or not that is allowed. Kimi Valentini. I assume because the injury had already taken place and they were scheduled to make that change. We have got there, just did a bit of concreting today, like you, Hamish. You look back to healthy today, no flu cheer. Yeah, just a bit of hay fever at the moment, unfortunately. As Genas, that's a great kick from Kimi Valentini, so that will now make the score at halftime 18 points to 14 in favour of the Fijian Drua. What did you concrete? Nas, was it a driveway? Was it some post holes? What were you up to? Do let me know. But halftime, close game between these two sides. Going to be a hard one to split them in the second half, I would say. And go the draw, Billa. Says Nars Williams. Well, we will go like this and like that. We'll get some stats up for this first half, ladies and gents. See exactly who had the run of the game. And I would say at the moment the Drua probably just have that little bit of an advantage, although the Reds have looked clinical when they've had a chance inside of the Fijian Drua 22 with some nice cross kicks coming, as well as skip passes. Currently in the match stats, we've seen 207 metres gained by the Fijian Drua compared to the 175 that we saw gained by the Reds. 13 defenders beaten for the Drua compared to the 8 of the Reds. And then also offloads are 2 and 2, but I think we're going to see a lot more offloads in the second half. On the wheelbarrow driveway, just a labourer clothesline path. That's all right, though. The small jobs need done too, don't they? I love it when you got to get the barrow out, though. And when you're almost done, that's normally the best part of the wheelbarrow. Like, it's fun until it's not, if that makes sense. How's the crowd been? They've been relatively loud overall, which is nice to see. And like I mentioned, it was going to be raining for this game by the looks of the weather, and then all of a sudden, the weather got nice. You know, the sun came out, and we just haven't really seen too many issues rain-wise. Like, the ground's still a little bit damp underfoot, which I think is why we've seen a few players slipping and sliding at times. The Drua have had 55% possession, though. I believe territory is about that 55% as well. A player stats in terms of who has stepped up. Drua Sisi has had the most running metres out of the Fijian Drua with 44. He's had 7 carries and he's beaten 1 defender. Gotta love the Fiji sun. Says unknown and good workout. Says Naz Williams down to the business end of the rounds. Even first on the table is not locked in. Says at Nov Mum. Yeah, that game between the Highlanders and the Blues is going to be a very important one for both sides. Metres carried 57 for Suliasi Vunivalu. Haven't been up to date. Where's this game? So it is at ANZ Stadium in Fiji. So they've got themselves the home field advantage. They're trying to use it here. They scored a couple early tries from Suliasi Vunivalu, giving away a yellow card for a foot trip, which was quite an interesting one. Kitione Salawa, 9 tackles, 2 turnovers, 1. The stats that he's putting together in this game is thoroughly impressive. And then Ryan Smith has had the most tackles out of any Reds player, and he has had 7 in total. I think that's the highest. Yep, about 4 players have got 6 tackles for the Reds. And second highest for the Fijian Drua is actually 6 as well. They've got 2 men on 6, Tana Kaivata as well as Kuroi Dua. I'm not actually sure who will take out this game because the Fijian Drua normally at home, second half is when they really start to find their rhythm. But then at the same time, they definitely don't want to drop off in intensity because or else they're the Reds. We've seen them late in a game where they start to score points. We saw it up against the Crusaders, though, that they had their points on the board a little bit more early. And then from there, they were able to kind of hold off the Satyrs to a certain extent till that last 10 minutes when the Crusaders caused some big problems. But the Reds still got themselves the win in the end. Crusaders just coming up short. We have got there a nice Fiji crowds are mad passionate. Says Naz Williams. They certainly are. They just love watching the game. 10,000 or so they've got in attendance for this contest, which is fantastic to see. And hopefully that is the way that the crowds continue for the drill. They've got one more game at home. That'll be up against the Rebels. Okay, they're showing a lady singing, but then they were also showing like a random guy in a tunnel. So I think someone pressed the wrong button. I think it was also, that was next to the coaches who they were just about to interview, by the looks of it. Currently the crowd, a little bit of noise. The song is like 40 years old. Says a Nov Mum. And I don't think the lady singing it is 40. So it's probably from before her time, but she is singing it very well at the moment, I should mention. Yeah, second half will only be, one moment, I'll just quickly check. Half ended about 5 minutes ago, so we've probably got another 8 minutes or so. At the moment, I'm doing laundry. Says, right, one moment, I'll quickly sneeze again. There we go. The worst thing is, I had like no hay fever yesterday. I was correct, 1984. Says a knob mum. Yeah, an oldie but a goodie, you could say. There we go. They just showed Tavita Ikanaveri's try. There was also the penalty try that was scored by the Fijian Drua. That was due to the ill discipline of Suliasi Vunivalu, who ended up going for a foot trip in that first half. And that's actually where 15 of the 18 points from the Fijian Drua were scored throughout that period when he was off the field. Damn, I was 4 years old in 84. Says Doctor. Well, there you go. Do you know much about Sid going while it's halftime? Not a huge amount, to be honest. I've seen a few highlights. He was in my all-time All Blacks as my number 9. I think he was in Maxies as well. But, yeah, I didn't really know too much about him outside of, like, a bit of his All Blacks career. But it was sad news. Yeah, one moment, I'm about to sneeze again. And they are just showing the highlight of Lawson Creighton's try that he was able to get. He also got the try assist from a cross kick going straight in the hands of Floyd Aubrey, who we've only seen touch the ball once, and that was from that cross kick. Other than that, the man hasn't really been too evident throughout this game. Yeah, it's a really good run from Lawson Creighton. And it's about the kind of run that we would have seen from Salawa had he not been foot tripped. Because he did snipe through the defensive line, similar to Creighton there. I'm about to sneeze again. This is awful at the moment. I don't know why the hay fever is so bad today. It doesn't even look nice outside. That's the worst thing about it. But 6 handling errors for the Fijian Drua is what has hurt them throughout this game. 2 from the Reds, but the Reds have conceded 5 penalties compared to the Fijian Drua, who have only conceded the 3. And 53% possession in favour of the Drua, 51% territory, so just a little bit in their favour. Achoo. Yeah, something like that. That's about the 15th time that we felt like we're going to sneeze today. Like, the thing is, though, yesterday, we were fine. So I feel like it's from talking so much. Maybe like it's tickling my nose, making me sneeze more. McBurn, though, having a chat with his Fijian Drua side. Needs them to step up here in the second half. Big news, I deleted my rugby channel because I have more fun gaming, making gaming videos. But I still watch rugby, but I won't do live commentary. Says Brandon. Oh, well, I look forward to seeing some more of your gaming videos. And at the end of the day, if you weren't enjoying doing the commentary as much, like, that's fair play. At the end of the day, you got to make sure you're doing what you like doing, or else people can tell that you don't like doing it, type thing. One moment, I'm about to sneeze again. Right, we are good now, hopefully, for 5 minutes. So we need to sneeze again. The second half, I believe, isn't too far away. Probably about 5 minutes, somewhere around there. Should mention the next games that we are doing. We are doing Crusaders versus Brumbies. That is taking place at 4:35 p.m. New Zealand time, and we are covering that one right from the kickoff. Then from there, we've got the next game after that. That is between between the Highlanders and the Blues at Eden Park. That is a 7:05 kickoff. And then we've got the 3 games of the URC that are taking place back to back to back. One of which, the first one, which is the Bulls versus Benetton, I believe is the first contest, and that is going to be taking place at 11:50 a.m. New Zealand time. Of course, Benetton recently pulling off the win up against the Sharks. It was a massive one for them playing in South Africa. But we'll have to wait and see whether or not they can do it again. 2 weeks in a row would actually help them drastically on the table, though. And speaking of the table, just while we're at it, we might as well look at the Super Rugby table, the way that it is currently sitting. Now, I should mention the Chiefs did get themselves to win last night, but this is the non-updated table, so the Chiefs are actually sitting in third at the moment on 42 points. The Rebels are sitting on 26. But if the Drua were to win this game with a bonus point, that would boost them up quite nicely. That would find them in a position of, I want to say, of some sort of safety, but it's still not safe because all of the sides in this competition, believe it or not, can still win a spot in that quarterfinal or earn a spot in that quarterfinal. Even the Waratahs, who are sitting bottom of the bunch, even the Crusaders, who are sitting 2 wins from 11 games, can still make it into that top 8. And I think that's something that a lot of people have questioned for Super Rugby this year, in terms of the fact that if any side can make it even when you've been struggling, like, is that top 8 really that prestigious? But there are certain sides in there that have certainly had to work hard for the spot where they are, one of which being the Fijian Drua. They've had 4 home wins, but they have 0 away wins, and they're sitting there with a loss and win ratio of 4 and 7. Minus 96 as well for the points differential. There are only the 5 sides at the moment with the points differential in the positives, one of which is the Blues with 209 in their favour. And then also the Crusaders, as bad as their season has been at times, they still don't have a terrible points differential. Minus 34 is where they sit. So could come down to points differential later on in the season. And we'll have to wait and see how that leads. And yeah, I was having some fun, or more fun than rugby videos, so I decided to why not just delete channel, keep Random Game as my normal channel. As they're a team worse than the Crusaders, having too much fun. Waratahs at the moment on the table are lower than them. And they've got about 20 injuries in their front row, which is pretty impressive. The Blues will lead by today. Says Alex there. And yeah, if they get themselves to win over the Highlanders, they should have top spot confirmed. But if the Highlanders can pull off an upset, then, you know, that gets a bit more interesting for the overall finish of the competition. And there's still quite a few New Zealand derbies left to take place. I know for one, the Crusaders, they have got the Blues next week. Then the week after, I believe that they are playing the, who have they got in the last round? I can't actually think of who the Crusaders have. Might be actually the Chiefs. The Hurricanes, they've got the Chiefs next week. It's going to be a big game. Our Reds will probably play Chiefs in a Hamilton playoff. Says Alex. They are just chatting with the Reds assistant coach at the moment. He's looking at a few of the stats as well, and he's saying that they aren't actually doing too bad on the stats board. The Reds have only missed 2 tackles inside of their 22. They've only had 2 or 3 handling errors. And Blues vs Chiefs is the last week. Says no, Mum. So yeah, they've got a tough finish to their competition. They've got 2 games that should be quite tricky. I mean, that Crusaders game, some would argue, won't be as tricky, although it is taking place in Christchurch. So that's probably a bit of the equaling factor in that regard. But yeah, it should be very interesting to see how it actually shapes up for those final few rounds of the competition. Already 32 points have been scored throughout this game. And I do not doubt we will see a lot more points scored throughout the next 40 minutes of this contest. I said that I thought both teams would get to 30, and I still believe that both sides will get plus 30 in this game. Okay, that's not Glenn Jackson, I don't believe. They've got a different representative. Is that Glenn Jackson? It might be, actually. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong guy. No, it's not Glenn Jackson. I don't think it was. I thought that Glenn Jackson was that assistant referee fella, or that referee guy from the past, but they've got a random guy in there. It is almost Christmas. It's getting close to 7 months away, which is quite incredible. Now it's kicked off for the second half. FIJIAN Drua, they are going to be... Glenn Jackson is their assistant coach. He is, but that wasn't Glenn Jackson who was getting interviewed. I'm not sure who that actually was out of the coaches, but it was a different coach anyway than Glenn Jackson. Okay, looks like there was a knock on here from the Reds at the start of the second half, which now gives... a knock on from the FIJIAN Drua. So the Reds will have themselves the scrum feed now early on. Sururu has made his way onto the field. Not actually sure who that is for. I assume it's for Liam Wright. Just looking around, I see that Ryan Smith's still out there. Could also be for Cormac Daly. In fact, it might be. I think he's on the field for Cormac Daly. I just said that Sururu is one of the 3 that they have got. Glenn Jackson was also a former All Black as well as a ref. It's going to be the free kick now going the way of the Reds. McDermott takes a quick tap. It's going to be kicked forward by the Reds. Accidentally, though, it was just a rough pass that went into the shin of the Reds player in the centres. Now, Jock Campbell passes one more across. Here comes Floyd Aubrey. We've only seen him really touch the ball once, and that was to score his try. McDermott again goes back across. Behind to Sururu. It's his first carry of the day. Now Creighton looking for the 50-22, trying to curl that one round. But at the back is Armstrong Ravula. Normally cool, calm and collected. And has found touch with a very good clearing kick. Now about 47 metres out from their line. Going to be the line out for the Reds. I feel like the second half is going to absolutely fly by. Both of these sides know how important a win here would be for them in the overall competition. We've already got another stoppage here, unfortunately. Hopefully won't be too long of a stoppage there for, I think it was Taj Annan. I massaged my prostate to your voice, mate. Cheers. You're welcome, I guess. Hopefully it all goes well. They do say that you should do a check every once in a while. I assume you do it a bit more often than most, but it's up to you, really. But yeah, it is Daly who's gone off the field for Sururu in this case. 38 minutes remaining, and also Fa'agasi has made his way onto the field for Penny Ravai as the other man who did make his way from the field for the Reds. So they have decided to be productive early and try and make those changes as much as they can. Try and counter the FIJIAN Drua in the way that they are able to play in a second half. It looks like Ryan Smith. No, sorry. It was actually Liam Wright. Just the line out. It seems to be set piece in general. Like Angus Gardner's getting sick of both these teams. They got big gaps in the line out. They haven't got stability at scrum time. And here comes Tate McDermott passing across to Suliasi Vunivalu. Goes straight through. Gets it away to Hunter Paisami. And now, it's gone backwards from Tate McDermott. So it's going to be play on. Paisami plays half. Goes across to Zane Ungor. Around the side again from Hunter Paisami. McDermott can go on to Ryan Smith. No advantage in play at the moment as of yet. Now they've got the advantage here for the Reds. They have an easy 3 points if they want it, but flick on the inside from McDermott. Ends up getting Suliasi Vunivalu smashed in the tackle. Low one made by Apeli Momo. Losing some meters. Taj Annan gets a pass on the outside. And that is some power coming from the Fijian defence and John Bryant. Looked like he was just ragdolled towards the touchline. Super Saturday Rugby today, yes. It is indeed. A lot of Super Rugby. 44 minutes in. Now chance for Lawson Creighton. Kick this one 5 metres from the try line. Oh, that's not 5 metres from the try line. That is a lot more than 5 metres. Well, we're going like this. And Sunday tomorrow rugby, yes, kind of. I guess Sunday morning for us here in New Zealand, but Saturday night for the ones in the Northern Hemisphere. For the URC, that one's nicely taken from the line out by the Drua. Valentini has to clear his lines from inside of his 22, and that is a great kick again. They're really doing well with their clearances in this game, the Fijian Drua. Fantastic work there. I'm getting ready to throw this one in again as Josh Nassar. Monday back to work on K Road. Should I go back to Plants vs Zombies Battle for Naperville Day? Or if you decide to download it again, maybe we can do a video again if you have any time. Tell you what, time's starting to get a little bit less available for me at the moment in terms of the time of the year that we're in. We're just slowly running further and further behind, so it might be tricky. But once again, like you said earlier on, you should do whatever you actually enjoy doing rather than just doing it for the sake of doing it, if that makes sense. Great step from Celestino Ravatamanda. You know what he loves doing? He loves beating defenders. He's 2 metres out from the line. And brilliant last-ditch effort there from the Reds. They've got the advantage, though. I believe Smith jumped the gun. And Tavita Kanaveri is over again. I thought he got that down. So did Angus Gardner. And it's the try now for the Fijian Drua, their third of the match. A great finish from Tavita Ikanaveri. Ravatamanda was just going through everybody that was in front of him. Oh, they need to review it though. Oh, Suliasi Vunivalu's done another foot trip. Are you joking me? If this is his second in the same match, this is gonna be a red card. Like, how do you? Not only do you do it stupidly once, but to do it again. Right, they're just checking the try. Wait, no, what's he doing? He just gets wrong-footed. When he gets beaten by a defender, he sticks his foot out to try and trip them. I think he missed that time. No, he's tripped him again, Vunivalu. What an idiot. I swear Vunivalu is betting on the draw to win. Yeah, he's tried to trip him. When you've already got a yellow card, send that man to the bin and keep him there. Because he's already had a yellow card for it in the first half. Okay, Angus Gardner saying, yep, I'm at yellow card. So it's going to be a red card for Suliasi Vunivalu. They're just going to check the grounding. But how do you even think about selecting him in the Wallabies if he's going to do that when he gets beaten in a step? They look close to down for Tavita Ikanaveri. I don't know if they're going to have the right angle here. Does that look held up from that angle? I don't think he gets that down to Tavita Ikanaveri. Wait a second, my conspiracy theory hat is tingling. What if Vunivalu was actually a Fijian? I mean, they do have 3 Fijian players in their 23. I think Vunivalu may be one of them, but Okay, they're going to award the try. So it's going to be a red card for Suniasi Vulivalu for 2 foot trips. So it's before the try. So they're going to start as normal. Can't be. They got an English name, Vunivalu. Yep, the man from Suva, they've just said. But that is going to be a red card for Vunivalu. If I was Joe Schmidt, right, and I found a random piece of paper. If I have my pieces of paper with all my players on it that I was considering, and you're Joe Schmidt, you're sitting there, and you have Vunivalu on that list, this game is one that I'm going and crossing him straight off, because imagine he does that for the Wallabies in a rugby championship game. You can't trust him if he's done it twice in one contest and he hasn't learnt from it. James O'Connor, giving him a handshake, but I don't think he meant it. And penalty try, says Jonathan Manson. So they already scored it from Taveta Ikanaveri, so they just get to keep that try, and because it's foul play, go beforehand. Like, they still can give it, if that makes sense. Why is Sully so hopeless? He has every physical attribute to be one of the best. He does, but unfortunately, sometimes it's just the mindset or the discipline of certain players does let them down. And his mindset is, if someone steps me, I'm going to foot trip them, which you can't really afford. A Fijian have to win or almost eliminate it, says Jonathan. Yeah, this is a very important game for the Fijian Drua. And they are certainly making the most of it. Now, Jock Campbell taking it well. Lawson Creighton. Well, the worst thing is, both times that Vunivalu's tried it, both times the Drua have still scored. And so he's off for the rest of the game. Says, thinks he is, yep. And after 20 minutes, I believe they can make a change and bring someone back out onto the field. Maybe in league, they could trip without strict punishment. I don't think they could, though. That I can think of. I feel like if you foot trip, maybe it's just a penalty rather than a yellow card, but either way, it's still not like a great tactic. Right. Simeone Kuravuli, I believe he is going to be penalised here. That's a great kick in behind from the Reds. They'll go back for the penalty. If that was a 50-22, they may have just wanted to take that one, but I think it was number 9 offside. Last evening, I am eating cheese with tomato sauce. Delicious. Frankie is 30 Indian, 30 rupee Indian currency. Hamish Bro, please tell how much New Zealand dollars here. 30 rupees. One moment, I'll have to do a Google. So that would be 59 cents New Zealand. And yellow card tripping in the league. Yeah, so it's still a yellow no matter what he's playing. And the next minute the Reds go on to win. Says John. I think they've got more chance of winning without Vunivalu on the field. And that's an honest opinion there, because he's been costing them a bit this game. The try that they scored out on his wing was when he wasn't out there. Not the draw, I mean. Says Inouye. And Clemani watching on for this game. Right, he'll be available for the Rebels game in 2 weeks' time. Nicely taken by Nassar, or at least thrown by Nassar. Creighton's taken off the field. That is for O'Connor. Now rolling forward quite nicely. Nassar gets 5 metres out from the try line. The Reds, that is a knock on. And that's going to hurt them because the Drua love a counter-attack. Looks like Eliza Drua Sisi. He's going to kick that one as far downfield as he can. It's gone into touch. Would have been interesting if that ball has stayed in the field of play. 28 minutes left now. And not the draw, I mean. And Forsader's draw and Rebels are cheering hard for the Reds. Not the draw. But yeah, like, that's the thing. For the drawer, right, there is still a chance that the Rebels, I said it on the podcast, and there's a chance that they somehow miss out, right? Because if the Crusaders win 3 games and the Rebels lose their last 2, the Crusaders theoretically would almost be above of the Rebels. the Highlanders, they will possibly be above the Rebels in 1 or 2 weeks' time. So the Rebels could find themselves qualifying as about 8th or maybe even sitting in 9th, just missing out. But Zainul Gordon now making his way from the field. It's so open though. The fact that every side can still win. If the Western Force lose their game to the Waratahs, that puts it even closer. And also alongside that, it would mean that we've still got theoretically a couple more sides that may just be able to get to 8th rather than any higher. That was not straight. And the throw, unfortunately, the replacement has just come on, and George Blake. And already that one is not a great throw from him. He's apologising to his teammates there. It looks like the Fijian Drua, rather than going for the scrum, they've actually opted to go for the line out. Oh, player has got his pants off, giving him a replacement pair. Yeah, that is anything but straight for George Blake for his first throw. Now ready to throw it in. They've gone to the front to Simeone Kuravuli, who's shut down by Jeffrey Tuamanga Allen. Ball's popped out the back door. Masaki Donge, one of his first carries of the contest. I think Ryan Smith asking for a cheap shot penalty in the breakdown. Now Kuravuli passes across there to Vera Ekanaveri, kick forward. And there's 3 Fijian Drua players after it, but there was a knock on, says the referee. And draw win equals Crusaders out of the finals. Disagree, Crusaders won't beat the Blues, Brumbies and the Blues, says Dion Sands. That's the thing though. You just never know, do you? Crusaders and Brumbies followed by the Blues next. Safe to say Crusaders season is over. Although I think their last round is a little bit easier, isn't it? For the Crusaders. So, what we got? Last round, they're playing Moana Pacifica, where they could really crank up the points. So theoretically, just not to insult Moana Pacifica, but I feel like for that game, Crusaders, theoretically, they get 5 points, right? So they go up to 19. If the Drua win this game, that helps increase their chances a little bit more, the Crusaders. And then theoretically, I believe they'd only need one other win to be above the Highlanders. If the Highlanders were to lose all their games remaining, they've got one up against the Hurricanes, one up against the Blues, and then they've got the Fijian Drua. So I think the Rebels at the moment are the side that I'm most concerned for. And I honestly think that 9, 10 or 11 are going to make their way into the top 8. Just with the way that it sits at the moment. Can the Aussies send scouts to New Zealand to get front rowers to fill the injury gaps? I mean, they have a little bit, theoretically. Whoops, we don't have rain delay. Wrong button. Kidnap some props, they won't mind. Okay, they're just saying about how there could be a penalty. Okay, Angus Gardner just given a strict warning to David Ekanaveri, saying soon we're going to have to penalise you for this one. Crusaders have Brumbies, followed by the Blues. So to say Crusaders season is over. Can the Aussies... Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? Currently 53 minutes in. James O'Connor. So the odds, I just had to check them. Drua are still favourites as it sits, and they have got an 11-point lead. They need another try, though, to feel safe at this point of the competition. You know, Brumbies at home, top teams. Blues at home, Crusaders are history, Amish, says Dion Sands. Oh, it was a 4 pass from the Reds. I'd like to think that they are, right? And I know a lot of other teams want to see them out of the competition as well, but you just don't know. They've got Cody Taylor back. They've got Scott Barrett we've got to remember this is a Crusaders side that when it comes to playoff rugby, when they used to have all their top players, they used to dominate. So, like, I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch. They should be out of the competition. But like I said right at the start of the season, like I said the whole way through, until I see the Crusaders name with a cross through it and saying eliminated, I won't take them out of the equation. And if they lose to the Brumbies today, perhaps that gets a little bit closer to them getting that cross through their name. But you just don't know with the Crusaders. Everyone's waiting for them to turn their season around. It hasn't happened yet. That loss up against the Reds, I think, was one that really hurt them, though. Now a little chip in behind attempted into the 22, and the mark is called by the Fijian Drua. Isn't that a soccer rule? 2 yellows equals a red. Don't think I've ever seen it in rugby. It does happen occasionally in rugby. Not a lot, though. Normally you see one that ends up just being a straight red type thing, but like, you can get 2 yellows for different things. We've seen it for a deliberate knockdown, I believe, a wee while ago. It was actually the player who ended up knocking it down had already had one for a high shot, so he ended up getting his red for 2 completely different things, like a yellow and a yellow. Then he was off the field. I eat the unhatched chickens, says Fluffy. Soccer are bringing in a blue card. Are they? I would have thought an orange card would have made more sense. Now, line out throw for George Blake. That was actually the 50-22. Oh, that wasn't the best throw either from George Blake. He's made a good tackle on Kuravuli and off his feet there. And the penalty goes the way of the Fijian Drua. But in those times, they had 10 to 11 All Blacks in their team. Says Dion Sands. Yeah, like having Cody Taylor back last week did seem to help them out quite a bit for the Crusaders. Like, losing to the Highlanders did hurt them as well. But like I said, until I see that they are eliminated, I'm not going to, like, all the sides in the competition can still make the top 8. So the Western Force, I think, have a really good shot in terms of the games that they have got still remaining. Scotty Scheffler made me some money in 3-ball betting today. Thank you, TAB, says Drink on the Moon. And what's going on, ANZ Stadium? Welcome in, mate. Still got 5 more games of rugby today that we are covering. 3 of which for the URC that are back-to-back-to-back, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. Time is back on. Line-out's lost. The Reds have lost 5 and they've only got 5. Or retained 5. Now the draw, passing off to Celestino Ravatamanda. Ball's available for Kuravuli. Going off to Antonio Wanga. He's another player we haven't seen a huge amount of. That's a great turnover coming from Jeffrey Tuamanga Allen. And the penalty goes the way of the Reds, this time against Celestino Ravatamanda. Celestino Ravatamanda just ignoring the referee there when Angus Garner was telling him that he was offside. Didn't even want to look at him. And this game has just been one that we've seen a lot of frustration from the Fijian Drua, it would seem. Like, Kuravuli was throwing things earlier on. Well, not necessarily throwing things. He was throwing his hands around. They really need to pick up play. Says Stan, yeah, if they want to get themselves the win, for one, they need to start getting these lineouts right. Because, like, George Blake hasn't been very straight with his throws at this point. 24 minutes remaining. Now, that's not straight either. Tell you what, the refs let him away with that one. And this is going to lead almost to a try by the looks of it. Hunter Paisami. 10 metres out from the line. I think Garner just felt bad for him that he couldn't throw it anywhere near straight throughout his line out. So he's decided third time's a charm. They've got the penalty advantage now for the for the Reds. So it's within 5 metres. McWright now looking for the pass, and they'll go back for the penalty. Right. If they were to take 3, they actually wouldn't be that close in this contest. They really do need these 7 points here. And I think scrums have been that unorthodox in this game that maybe just a quick tap and go might actually be the better option here for the Reds. And Amos is in the chat. Welcome in, mate. Right, what do they decide? It looks like they're going to do a quick tap. McDermott, short ball to Jeffrey, Tuamanga Allen. They're 5 metres out from the line now for the Reds. And McDermott is playing Amish. He certainly is. Speed out in the starting lineup. Although he won't be too far away from getting sub for Kalani Thomas. That's going to be loose. Another penalty. 4 offside against the Fijian Drua. Double blow of the whistle. This is getting to the last warning stage. And this could be the equaliser. Right. Angus Gardner has just said, if we continue to see penalties down this end of the field, someone will probably go to the bin. So, I feel like that's pretty clear. Canaveri just telling his side to stay onside. It was actually Rugby Australia that wanted the top 8 because they wanted to see their teams in the playoff. Technically, it was supposed to be a top 6, and top 6 would have made a lot more sense in terms of the amount of teams in the competition compared to the amount of spots available. So I'm not sure whether or not next year they might go with a top 6 instead, just from the... Oh, that's the thing. A smart competition would change it to top 6 next year. But then at the same time, if they want to see more Australian sides in, then we are going to have to see a top 8 again. But I honestly believe you should do top 6, top and second top qualifier have a bye week. Then everyone else plays their semi-finals or their kind of eliminator finals. Then you have the semi-finals of the team that wins their game plays the side that had the bye, and then you get your final. That's going to be the mark taken from inside of the 22 by Armstrong Ravula. Still plenty of time for the Rebels to win. Or sorry, for the Reds to win. Says Novmum. Still 20 minutes remaining in this contest. There is plenty of time, like you said, as Nalanga hurt bad. He was able to continue after his injury for a bit, but then now he's gone off the field. So hopefully nothing too serious, but yeah, he has gone off the field for this game. Not our fault. The New Zealand teams are overall better, says Novmum. Now going to the right-hand side. How can I watch rugby games live? It's a tricky one. It depends on whereabouts you are in the world, and more than likely you would need a paid subscription to be able to watch them and go on the Drua, says Sakiusa. And also he should expand to the 50-ish teams, like what some football league has, and invite more countries in, says Raffle Sear. I don't know if they'd ever do that, just because then it may slightly diminish the competition in terms of competitiveness. Maybe if you did that but had certain pools or something, so that top qualifiers from outside of the comp can come in and make it a 14-team side or something like that. Could be quite a cool idea. But then you'd also have to have a relegation, and you may lose a couple sides that they don't want to lose. Just got back to top 4. Everyone's a winner, baby, says Fluffy. Currently 18 minutes remaining. Will you watch Fury Usyk tomorrow? I'll probably watch it, but it will be delayed more than likely. I won't end up watching it live. I'll end up watching it probably late in the afternoon. Looks like another change is about to be made for the Fijian Drua. Just going back to top 4. Everyone's a winner, baby, says Fluffy. Yeah, I don't know if they go from 8 to 4. That's why I'm thinking maybe 6 would be a good middle ground to try and meet them halfway for the comp. I just said that the Drua have won 7 of their past 8 games on home soil. At the moment, the Reds are $8.50 underdogs. No, mummy say better think again, says Stan. Now it looks like Thanakai Vata is on the field. It actually looks like Atoni Awanga will be the man who comes off. Money would be good for the dollars. America and Co have a lot of money. But also, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because you've got to try and get that new market and get that money. But at the same time, you've got to try and keep the people who are watching the competition consistently happy as well. So, I mean, they've talked about the possibility of adding a Japanese side or having some sort of combo with the Japanese top league. But, yeah, it's hard to say. Not top 6 playoffs, not 8. They still have a chance, and that's very wrong. Says Mana Black. Why just the Crusaders? Like, I know a lot of people are saying about the Crusaders as, like, they still have a chance, but what about the other sides that are down there? The Waratahs, they still have a chance. Moana Pacifica, they still have a chance. They've won around that same number of games as the Crusaders and the Force, although I think they have one extra. But I think a lot of people are firmly, like, set on the Crusaders as the main reason that they're not happy with the competition, rather than thinking of the other sides that are also down there too, you know? That's why I say 2. Novmarvin think again. And also we have got their mathematical chance, but everyone knows they won't. Says Spinks, but that is going to be the penalty now to the Fijian Drua. 16 minutes remaining in this contest. There's going to be illegal wheeling against Jeffrey Tuamanga Allen. He's got a big smile on his face, and Marcy been quiet. He actually has, yeah, throughout this game. We've hardly seen Osef Marcy out there on the park. And I think that's because we've seen a lot more of Celestino Ravatamunda. But even so, like, their backline-wise, the draw, we haven't really seen a huge amount of many of their team. But looking for the touchline. That's going to be the line out now for the draw, about 15 metres out from the line. What's happening, says Barrett? Well, the draw have got themselves an 11-point lead, and they are looking to extend it a little bit more here with a good attacking position on the field. Have a USA team and base them in Hawaii, because Hawaii runs at the same time zone as Perth, I think. Says Junior Ryder, although how many hours is it from Australia to Hawaii to fly? Because that's probably something else to look at as a reason that they may not consider it. As an Argentina massive economy, they can pay their way back in. Although I think that's more like the football side of things for Argentina has a huge amount of money in it, but rugby doesn't really get that same funding, unfortunately. And a lot of people in Argentina don't even know what rugby is. So that might be the tricky part. Like, I know that if Argentina won a World Cup in rugby, a lot more people would start watching. Like what we're seeing in the sevens side of things. That's going to be a nice pass on the outside to Jock Campbell, who's running down the wing. Couldn't get his pass away, and he's been driven into touch. A bit of frustration from Tim Ryan, who was ready for it. Bring back North versus South games. Says Mana Black. As in, like, New Zealand North versus South, or as in, like, in general, like rugby? That was a rough pass from Nasilisila, well picked up, or was it? No, he's knocked it on. From Samu Tawaki. What a bad trip that would be, says Fluffy. I think I can pay us in meat, says Annoy. Yeah, one thing Argentinians really know how to do is barbecue, that is for sure. 14 minutes left. It's still that yellow card, North Island versus South Island. Yeah, it was a pretty awesome game the last time that it took place. I don't know why they got rid of it. I think it was just with the heavy schedule that the teams already had. New Zealand teams have had 20 out of 26 Super Rugby titles. South Africa 3, all by the Bulls. Australia 4. So how's that work? Have you got 27 Super Rugby titles and you've got 26 Super Rugby titles to be won off, mum? You must have one extra somewhere along the lines. Say North versus South as well. Just don't know how the teams will be selected. I saw Lomu highlights from 1994. He steamrolled seasoned older All Blacks. Now nice pass out wide to Tim Ryan. He's really been an impact player for the Reds. NZRU have come and said that there's no room in the test calendar for a North versus South. Yeah, like that's the tricky part. I'd love to see a North versus South, though, taking part outside of the All Blacks. You know, you have the Māori All Blacks who normally have a game, or a New Zealand XV that normally play. You've got your normal, I guess the Bunnings NBC probably overlaps with it a little bit, but I feel like they could find 1 week where maybe you don't have All Blacks in it, but you're still like a North versus South would still do quite well, I believe, in terms of being able to watch it. Novmum, now you think New Zealand teams is good, says Stan. That's what Wikipedia had. Well, Wikipedia must have done the maths wrong, unless there's like some sort of random title that isn't counted because, yeah, that's 27. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what their maths is. Maybe there's one competition that only had, like, I mean, we had Super Rugby AU and whatnot, but I'm not sure. Oh, quick tap taken by the Reds. McDermott trying to win the offside penalty. Referee says no. Fraser McWright sitting 12 metres from the line. And that's a great turnover from the Fijian Drua, who managed to win the penalty as well. They look like they wanted to take it quickly. The Reds, they have still set, I think that only goes to 2019. Okay. I'm still trying to work out where that extra year or extra title would have come from. Like, did they have, no, they didn't have co-winners one year. That's one thing that I was thinking maybe could count, but I assume that hasn't happened. It's a mystery. Just showing here, McWright getting tackled and then straight on to the ball. Perfect base. I think the South would be cream this year due to weak performance of the South this year, although it's not necessarily true for that one because the players in the North versus South other team, we saw a lot of North Island players. Like I think Damien McKenzie was playing for the South, I believe, or Richie Mo'unga was for the South. I remember the lineups, people were a bit confused because I think Geordie Barrett was playing for the North or there was some sort of, or maybe he was playing for the South because he did his schooling in the South. Like it was based off where you went to school. So it kind of confused a lot of people for where they should be. Why you think South Africa have left Super Rugby? I mean, there are a lot of rumours about what happened. Like, I think that I'm probably not schooled up on it enough, but there was, there was disagreements, I would say, between New Zealand and South African teams in terms of the people who run the sides. Like, a lot of people say New Zealand was at fault. Some people say South Africa was at fault. But either way, like, I think South Africa are doing pretty well in the URC at the moment. They've been able to show that they are top contenders in Europe, which is great. Can't we get one Bok team in Super from the leftovers not in the URC? Probably. Like, and that's the thing. With the Curry Cup slowly getting more and more, like, I'm not really sure how to say it, but with Super Rugby, with the Curry Cup losing its oomph a little bit more, like, yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Right, that's another free kick. In fact, it's become a penalty this time at scrum time. Ikanaveri cannot understand why they're getting penalised every scrum. At the moment, Drew are losing too many lineouts. Well, I mean, the Reds are sitting, I think it's 6 wins, 5 losses for their lineouts. But it's scrum time that it's actually hurting them the most here. I picked the North versus South teams by birth, like state of origin, says Mana Black. And you could do, like, with the remaining players who don't get selected for the All Blacks, don't get selected for the Māori or New Zealand XV. Like, you could still make some pretty decent sides and have a good rivalry type thing get started. That's a great rolling maul, but pushed into touch. Last-ditch effort on George Blake by, I think it was Celestino Ravotamanda. He's pushed him into touch there, which is a massive one for Ravotamanda and the Fijian Drua. The South African team's rage quit. Crusaders do dominance is unknown. And also Crusaders know. New Zealand team wasn't up for the style. South Africa play all about power. So yeah, like those are all just like rumours in terms of like what people think it's from. But I think it was some sort of disagreement in terms of the travel schedule or financial, like what was going to be happening during like lockdowns and everything like that, of how they were going to communicate between the sides and travel between the sides. That's going to be loose. And the ball is in the hands of the Fijian Drua now. They're 10 metres from the line. They've only got 8 minutes remaining in this contest. They've been told to use it. Peli Momo puts it high. It could be the Rebels last year. I think they possibly played their last home game last night. Says Junior Ryder. Yeah, it will be an interesting one because I honestly think if they get into the top 8, someone will fund them. Because there's still potential there if they can get it into the top 8. Because that'll be their first time in 15 years or so. Who's your man of the match so far? I mean, I'd probably say Kitioni Salawa for what he's able to do. Like, Rawa Tamanda's had a pretty solid game too, but I think that Kitioni Salawa's work in the breakdowns as well as like everything along those lines. Could have had a try if it wasn't for a foot trip. He's looked really good in this game overall. For the Reds, I'd say that someone like a Lawson Creighton's probably been the standout player so far. Here comes Tim Ryan. Look for the offload, but it's too far out in front. And now it's going to be the knock-on advantage in favour of the Fijian Drua. Looking for the pass back. It's loose and it's gone backwards. A rules management is dodgy and corrupt from a banking world. A shame as the team is improving. Says Inouye. Oh, Campbell. He's slipping and sliding there. The Drua arriving. Ball's popped out the back, but they've cynically stolen the ball. So it will go back for the penalty again. They got a bit excited and then they scooped that ball back. Should Super Rugby get rid of Moana? No. Like, they've only recently added them in. The crowd are not happy, but I think that that's more of the case of not knowing the rule than anything. Matualu playing, he actually replaced Simeone Kuravuli about probably 10 minutes ago, I would say. I think the Rebels will drop out of the 8 altogether. Their last time run is against Brumbies in the draw. So who do you think will go into the top 8 junior rider of the sides outside of the top 8 currently? You saw what South Africa do to New Zealand in World Cup finals. All about what? Says Stan. I mean, like, yes, you can look at that, but we were talking club level, weren't we? And like Novmum said, in club level, they have about 16 more titles. But like, it's all about perspective, isn't it? Like South Africa, don't get me wrong, great side. I have to say that or else I get shot. But like, it's one of those ones that, like, their style, I think, really matches up well with the URC in terms of their battles with Munster that we've seen recently. We're going to see Glasgow versus Lions today. I think that's going to be a tremendous game. We saw Glasgow almost fight back up against the Bulls last week. And what was a last-minute thriller. Now, big attack and run forward from the Reds. Force will get the win tonight if the Reds win. And it will be a great underdog story. I think either the Force or the Satyrs, but it's hard to tell. See, he's a junior rider. They take their back. Crusaders taught South Africa teams through countless whippings. Says unknown. 5 minutes remaining. Kimi Valentini not happy with his kick downfield here. It's going to be an interesting finish in this contest, that is for sure. It's more of that question mark as well of who is going to play the last 5 minutes better, because the Reds can still win this game. If they score now, they are going to be there. Can't take that back. Crusaders no look who they buy now. Halfpenny, that's a joke. Yeah, although they haven't really played Lee Halfpenny at the moment. Like, he's played one game and then they sacked him because he wasn't quite up to the standard that they wanted at 15. And also, I think Che Fiaki, alongside Johnny McNichol, have probably been decent replacements for him. That's going to be loose. And that's going to be the penalty going the way of the Reds again here. So they just have to win tonight or they're gone burgers. Well, the crazy thing is, even if they lose tonight, right, they can still win if they get 2 bonus point victories. Or they can still get into the top 8 depending on other results. So that is probably why a lot of people are not happy with the overall competition and the way that it kind of sits. Just because, like, you do still have a really good chance of making your way through. Well, we'll go like this. At the moment, in terms of the odds, it's interesting. The Reds, if they score now, it's going to be a close one. 3.5 minutes remaining, though. The Draw need to dig deep here, deeper than they probably have throughout the rest of their Super Rugby season, because these 4 points might be the difference. They've got 2 tough games left. One up against the Rebels, and I know that may not seem tough, but we saw what the Rebels did up against the Chiefs, and they still are not an easy beat. So it is still have Enor and Will Jordan to come back. So I think they're rebuilding this year, says Junior Ryder. That's over the line. And that is the try now for the Reds. This game's not over, ladies and gents. She's just starting to heat up. Been put in the microwave. Only takes 2 minutes till it's hot. And there's only about 3 minutes remaining in this contest. And there is going to be a tight finish between these two sides complaining. I think your team should have won more, says Raffle Sear. Complain, and I think your team should have won more. Is that for Junior Ryder? Or not? Because Junior Ryder, I think he's a Hurricanes boy rather than the Crusaders. Jordan not coming back until maybe November. I won't even be in the AB, says Mr. Allin. And Hamish, it's not about the Satyrs, it's about losing 10 games. Still making the quarterfinal, no good. Exactly. So that's what I was saying about earlier on, how the Waratahs are in that same boat. They can still make the quarterfinal. We've still got Moana Pacifica with a chance of making the quarterfinal, who have only won 3 games throughout this season. That kick has missed from James O'Connor, which means that the Reds will need a converted try in the last 2 minutes to win this game. About dropping it down to top 6, says Raffle Sear. Like, that's the thing. I think 6 should be the maximum teams that they have through to a quarterfinal. Hurricanes band, says Junior Ryder. Talking about building. Look at the Bulls. Jake is doing that, not the Crusaders. You do know that it's not always a competition between every side, right? Like, sometimes sides will have different paths and have different plans. Jake White, he threw away the Champions Cup. He decided he didn't want it. So now he's in the position that he has to win the URC, or else a lot of people will say that he should be sacked. So then he doesn't get to do much building if he's watching from the sidelines, not as a coach. So, like, different paths, you know? It's one of those things. Rob Penny, he's probably signed the hardest job, which was taking over a side from a coach that has won so many titles. That's a penalty to the draw. That should almost secure the game. If the Crusaders win the whole comp, shows it's trash comp. Exactly right. If the Crusaders make the quarterfinals, they will more than likely be up against the top contender. And then if they knock out first place, like, it's going to be pretty brutal. So I do hope that it doesn't happen. There's still a chance, though, that it could. And kick a 3 right. Hello, my daddy's bigger than yours, says Fluffy. Right, they're going to go for the post. This will use up a good while. And if this kick goes over, they will take away a bonus point from the Reds, who are already secured for the quarterfinals. It's just more of a question of where they will finish in the top 8. Armstrong Ravula will try and use up as much time as he can. Don't miss, please, says Jonathan. Yeah, that's the thing. If he misses this, there's still a chance. Yes, Hamish Penny was either dumb or had some balls of steel to take over. Definitely because he came from the Waratahs, where he had lost about 5 games in a row as well. And the Waratahs, they weren't exactly in a good place either. So, like, I don't think it's so much that he's a terrible coach. I think he's just taken the roles that not many people want to take and hoping to turn it into a miracle. Oh, the ball's fallen off the tee. You can't charge because it's a penalty. Armstrong Ravula lines it up and he's missed it. Every time the ball's falling off the tee nowadays, you miss the kick. So they will force that one down. They've now got the goal line dropout, or the 22 dropout, claimed by Celestino Ravatamunda. The Reds are still within 7. Penalty advantage now, going the way of the drawer. Jake Nowai is losing that cup. Bulls don't need it. With that B team, sorry, Hamish. Says Stan, I mean, a Champions Cup would still look pretty good on a South African resume, I would think, to be the first side to be able to pull it off. It was a top 6 cut, or if it was a top 6 cut, then these games would feel mostly pointless, because anywhere you place, you have to place everyone, or play everyone at some point. Does it give draw 5 points on the table? It does not. It would give them... Oh, what's the plan here for the draw? Surely they just tap this one. And that's why my team is 3 and 8. Right, they're going for the shot here. Why? Why is this? I'm just going to have a quick look, right? So the Reds are currently sitting on 31. So they would move up to 32 if they win, or if they are within 7. The Drua are risking so much here though, but I believe there's actually more time left on the clock than first anticipated. I think that the clock is wrong, which is why they are taking on the 3-point. This should use up the rest of the time that is remaining. If this is again a miss, this has to be a record in 2 minutes, 2 misses, says Jonathan. Now lining this one up, Armstrong Ravula. The clock is wrong, so I'm not sure if this does actually win the game for the Drua. He strikes it. This one's a lot better. It's gone over, and that is the end of the game. The Drua victorious at home, 28 points to 19. They've managed to do it here, the Drua. This game took a long time. It was about a almost 2-hour contest, but the job is done. The Drua advance. Well, maybe. That's the thing. It's still very close. And time for a Carver Club. Cheers, Mr. All-In. And unless I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are back for the next game that is taking place between the Crusaders and the Brumbies. Now, when you talk about important games for a season, that is one of them for the Crusaders here. But thank you all very much for tuning in. And I will see you all in about 30 minutes time for the next one.